In the spring of 1975, 30-year-old Rod Stewart decided to go it alone, setting out for the States. But he wasn't truly solo. On his arm was the gorgeous Swedish actress and former James Bond girl, Britt Ekland. Rod Stewart was about to become a full-fledged jet-setting superstar in the land of sun, fun, and movie stars.
I was tricked into it. My manager, Billy Gaff, said, we're going to go out to Hollywood because I want you to record there. And he got me there and he said, right, you can't go back because if you go back, it's going to cost you this much money and this and that.
If you're going to be in Hollywood, then be in Hollywood.
Stay away from my window.
And off he went. So there he was with Britt Ekland, top of the pile.
Well, that was the first time I'd really been out with a girl that was like a star. She taught me some wonderful worldly things. She introduced me to a lot of shops that I was unaware of in places like Paris and Rome.
Monsieur, you know?
It was all new to me, this wonderful international star that was by my side. I was totally enthralled.
It was new to his fans, too, and most of them didn't like it one bit. That rough and tumble London bloke they knew and loved? Thanks to Britt, he was gone. Glitter and glam were in.
Everyone was wearing eye makeup and looking very effeminate, for want of a better word. It wasn't just me. It was a period that everybody was going through, and I sort of went along with it. I think I lost a lot of fans in those days. It seemed like I'd lost all credibility. Just lack of judgment on my behalf.
Eventually, Rod abandoned the glam and came to his senses. Despite Britt's beauty, Stewart was not yet ready to become a one-woman man.
I was running off shagging other women. That's what happened. It didn't fizzle. I was finding it very hard to be faithful in those days.
2 years later, Rod finished sowing his wild oats. On April 6, 1979, he married Alana Hamilton, an actress from Texas, and the former wife of actor George Hamilton.
I barely knew who he was. I just knew he was a funny-looking English rock star whose hair stood up on end.
I was instantly stunned by her beauty and wonderful southern accent.
You see my boots, too, you see, that's...
Oh, well, not too high.
We got married. Had 2 gorgeous kids together. Buggers.
We kind of settled into a family life very quickly, which was good and in some ways not so good. I resented the time that he spent away from me and the kids.
Do you think I'm sexy was just enormous. That demanded that I go on the road.
So there was the constant pull between be home with the kids, but yet be on tour.
As popular as the song was, Rod's disco diva turn frayed the nerves of even his most loyal following.
Well, Do You Think I'm Sexy became the fastest-selling song in Warner Brothers history at the time.
It was sort of a double-edged sword for him because
It alienated a lot of his male core audience.
Great song, mate. Fantastic. Oh, the most reviled song of its era.
he got a lot of criticism about it, that he'd gone disco.
Maybe there was a bit of selling out. Maybe there was a bit of bandwagon jumping. I could easily say, yeah, it was a load of Do you think I'm sexy? But I'm going to stand by. I thought it was a very romantic story. It was part of the disco era. I'm very proud of it.
But one thing that Rod was not proud of was the fact that he missed so much of Kimberly and Sean's childhood.
There's very few regrets I've got in my life, but if there's something I could take back, it would be the years where I seemed to be continually touring and didn't see the 2 eldest of my children growing up.
Well, finish this tour, then we go off to Japan.
When I was younger, I didn't understand it.
Then we do Australia.
You see your dad for like a day, and then he's gone for like 2 weeks.
Then we're going to Brazil.
I always just knew that that was Daddy's job.
And then I think I'll spend a year looking after my children.
Daddy comes home and he visits us, and then he goes away and he sings on stage.
Well, it has to be difficult because you're on tour all the time. I mean, that's what you got to do. That's your profession. It has to be a happy medium.
I was very involved in being Rod Stewart.
I wanted him to kind of settle down really quickly and be this stay-at-home family man, which I don't think he was really quite prepared to be just yet.
They're okay now, and I make sure I spend as much time as I can with them now, and they're not angry about it. It's just They grow up so quickly. I know it's a ridiculous cliche, but they do.
It's changed a lot. As I grew up, he's more like a best friend. I can run to him and talk to him about anything. He's always there for me no matter what.
But back then, Rod wasn't always there. And because of it, his marriage to Alana ended after just 4 short years. With his personal life suffering and his career in a funk, Rod recognized the need to reconnect with his audience. He started on the road to recovery by forging a business partnership with Hollywood power broker Arnold Stiefel.
So I met him, I admired him, and he didn't promise me a great deal, but truth and honesty, which is what I was looking for in a manager. And we've had a wonderful relationship ever since.
One of the first things I did when I got involved was think how we get back to Rod's rock and roll roots. So I brought his old love-hate relationship, Jeff Beck, back in the picture. They did a song called Infatuation. That was a #1 rock and roll hit. And that got us back on the right track.
I'm not going to disappear just yet. I promise.
Musically, Rod might have been back on track, but he was quickly derailed in September of 1990 when he was hit hard by tragic news that his beloved father had passed on.
Roddy was absolutely flabbergasted when he died. He was shattered. He said, I only spoke to him 2 hours ago.
Big Bob Stewart. To show you how much we love him, on his gravestone, he's got one of Scotland's all-time great players, George Young. And at the top of that, it says, Dad, thanks for the Tartan pride. That's how much he meant to us.
Up next.
I went for a routine scan, so they said, hold on a minute, hold on a minute.
And they detected something on his thyroid. He had cancer.